What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down a great move that all wide receivers need to learn to create separation. So I hope this video helps you guys out. Hope it can teach you a few new things, but also, fellas, if you are a wide receiver and would like to train with us this offseason, we are going to be traveling out to 12 states across the country for 2-day-long QB and wide receiver training camps. Next up on our camp tour, we'll be coming out to Charlotte, North Carolina. That camp is sold out, and we plan on selling out probably every single camp that we will do. But next, we'll be coming to Dallas, then the DMV, St. Louis, Honolulu, Boston, Cleveland, Austin, Seattle, Newark, Denver, and Los Angeles, California. So if you guys want some more information on that, how you could sign up and get your spot, check out that very first link in the description below. We'd love to have you there. Let's get started with this video. So now, first thing is first, we're going to be talking about a move called a peek back move. So this is going to be a more advanced version of the peek back, and then I'm going to break down a few more examples of how you guys can use this on different routes. But this is going to be on a comeback route, kind of in the middle of the field, around the 40 to 50 yard line. So a peek back move is a move that helps you self-fade, right? So obviously a DB, and again, this ball was thrown a little bit high. I feel like this pass still probably should have been caught, but when it's got a ton of velocity and over your head, that's a tough ball to handle. But let's focus mainly on the route. So anytime that you choose a peek back move, we are trying to sell what? We're trying to sell fade, right? We're trying to make this DB think fade. He's got his eyes up top. Maybe he's not as disciplined with his eyes, and he starts to overcommit, put the burners on and overcommit this fade. And that is how we can get separation. Now, there's a couple key things when doing this peek back move that's going to help you guys get separation. When I do this peek back, it is very important that I don't lean back. It is just a simple glance over your inside shoulder. What so many wide receivers will do is they'll do this peek back move, whether it's on like a comeback, whether it's on an out route, maybe just a stop route, and they will lean back and raise their pad level up. Now, not only is that going to shorten your stride and slow you down, it's not going to look like a fade. But if you're just simply peeking over that shoulder, acting as if you're chasing down an overthrown ball, that is what's going to get this DB to overcommit and is what can get us separation. But what so many guys do, like I said, is they lean back, they slow down, and that's an indicator to that DB. So make sure when I do that peek back move, we are keeping it just as a glance over the shoulder. I'm still running hard, I'm still maintaining my stride, and then I'm able to put the brakes on this thing. Now, when do you use this peek back move? I honestly, personally like it on any given route. I feel like you could work it on any route, except maybe like a dig or except maybe a post or a curl, I would say. But I like it definitely on any outside breaking route and maybe a slant or maybe a quick 5-yard in. But that is only on the goal line, and we're going to discuss why. Because you see when he comes off the ball here, he doesn't look back right away. Right? He puts his head down. He accelerates for a few yards before he starts to peek back. Because when you guys are in the middle of the field and you're running a fade ball, because that's what we were trying to sell, do you guys look back right away and stare at the quarterback? No, you keep your head down and you try to get separation from this DB first, then we look back for the ball. We get open first and then we look for it. On the goal line, that ball is going to be up quick so you can show your eyes early. And that's what we're going to be showcasing on the next example. So make sure, fellas, we have to pair my routes together. If I'm going to use a peek back move, it has got to look exactly like how I would run an outside release fade. I only like using it when you take an outside release. You could probably use it on any given route, but I don't like it on any inside breaking route past 5 yards. Let's play this thing again, full speed one more time. Great job by this wide receiver setting up this peek back move. Ball was thrown a little bit high, but that is a textbook example of not leaning back on the peak and getting that separation. So next up, we're going to be looking at 2 separate routes here from Davante Adams. Now, one of the things that makes Davante Adams such a dangerous route runner, and what makes so many guys such a dangerous route runner like Justin Jefferson, Keenan Allen, is their ability to pair their routes together. So if you can make your slant look like a fade, if you can make your fade look like a slant, there's so many benefits to that, and that keeps a DB guessing. Because whether a DB likes it or not, on every single snap, he is guessing. He does not know what we are going to do. It is our job to make him not know what we're doing on no matter what until the ball is thrown from the quarterback. So I have to pair my routes and I have to pair my releases together. So look at this example here from Davante Adams. This ends up being a catch, maybe not the greatest route in the world, but he's still able to create separation on this quick goal line fade. Now you see how quick he looks back with his eyes. So now let's look at this next example here. Same type of coverage as the last one. You got inside shade. We're down here in the red zone. How many times have you seen Davante Adams run a quick fade and Rodgers would have put that ball quickly over the shoulder? That is what we are trying to sell. And you guys can do that with a peek back move. So he starts off the release the exact same way because, again, a smart DB, fellas, on film is going to study us. He's going to try to say, and maybe not, I don't know exactly how old everybody is, right? But like, let's say you're a high school wide receiver, which I know a lot of you are. Maybe not a high school DB is going to study us on film, but a high school DB coach will study us on film. And he will tell his DBs, anytime you see this wide receiver do this little hezzy move, expect like we're running a fade or expect him to run a fade. And that is exactly what I want as a wide receiver. I want them to try to guess because I know that I'm going to pair my releases together, pair my routes together, and it's going to look real similar to keep them on their toes. It's all about having a mind game, fellas. But if I only run my slant one way, I only run my goal line fade with this little hezzy move, I don't do it on anything else, then you're predictable. And when you're predictable, that's how we get locked up. It's a chess match. DBs constantly study film and is a chess match. So let's watch what Davante Adams does here. He does this same hezzy move, but now he breaks to this slant. He does a diamond release and uses that peek back. That's another way that you can use that peek back fade or that peek back like sell move, if you will. But more importantly, it's called a peek back move. Now, when he comes off the ball, gives a little hesitation like we said, he takes 3 hard steps to the outside. Eyes looking back to the QB. And again, he's not taking choppy steps. He's not leaning back. It is just a glance over the inside shoulder because that glance is what sells it more. You start leaning back, you start straightening your chest up, taking choppy strides. Man, that doesn't tell a DB that you're going fade. But when you have speed and it's just a glance over that shoulder, that is what can get that DB to commit, and that is what can get us separation. Fellas, there's got to be some creativity to your routes, especially when going up against a talented DB. And say what you want, you could hate this DB for the Bears. We get that all the time. Anytime we show an NFL DB, oh, well, that DB's trash. Like, they're playing in the NFL. Like, they're the most talented DBs in the entire world. So you need to have some creativity to your routes to get a lot of separation. Now, imagine if you bring that creativity to a high school field, even college, even youth ball. You're going to be unguardable, fellas. So rather than him just coming out, because this is what a lot of people think. Like, this is how wide receivers think. They'll see this inside shade look, and they'll just go, okay, I got to run a slant. I'm just going to do a diamond release and attack his outside shoulder. Hopefully he flips his hips, and I'm going to slip underneath. But to add that creativity to the route, he adds that peek back move. And that is when you can get so unguardable, fellas, and so unpredictable because it looks the same. It's not, and again, it's about where they're at on the field too. He looks back with those eyes right away to sell that quick goal line fade. Would this work in open space? I really don't think it would. Because if you're on the 50-yard line going in, and if you're running a fade, it's probably like a 4-verts fade where they're trying to put the ball out there. I don't think you looking back right away after your release is a great way to sell the fade because you would have your head down longer than that. You have to know where you're at on the field when to use this peek back, and you got to make sure, again, we are pairing our routes and our releases together. Let's play this again, full speed one more time here from Davante Adams. Great job with this hezzy move, taking those 3 steps to the outside, and then winning on that slant. So now, this is going to be an example from Chris Olave here, working this peek back move on kind of like an out route or comeback route. Now, we're on the goal line, right? Most important thing, again, is making it look the same. You can also use it for an outside breaking route when you're on the goal line, not just that slant. And it comes down to the same principles. Know where we are at on the field. So in that first example, we saw that comeback. That wide receiver gave a release. He put his head down, got a little separation first or got a little speed going, then he started to peek back. But when we're on the goal line, there's an end line there. We can't go past 10 more yards. So we have to sell with my eyes immediately. So let's watch what Olave does here. He attacks this DB's leverage, peeks back right away, and that is what gets the DB's eyes in the backfield. Again, everybody who's ever seen this clip like the first time, everybody's always number one excuse is, oh, well, DB's eyes shouldn't be in the backfield. They should be watching the guy. He's only looking back because we sold the route correctly. There's always an action and a reaction. I hate that excuse like, oh, DB could have played this better. Well, how about the wide receiver just played it so well that we made him look bad? That's how your mindset now how it needs to be as a wide receiver. How can I make this DB look bad? How can I get his technique thrown off? And this peek back is exactly how you can do it. He showcases it right away. He attacks his leverage. He makes it look exactly like that goal line fade. Because if you were running a goal line fade and you had this 5 yards off inside shade coverage, you would attack his leverage and then you would go race to that back pylon. That is exactly what we want to make it look like. Let's go attack his leverage. Let's sell with my eyes. Let's get his eyes in the backfield and then win on that out route, comeback route, however you want to play it. But it's about knowing where you're at on the field so you can execute that move correctly. All right, fellas, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. Always appreciate the feedback. It's always great to hear from you guys. We really, really appreciate the support. And again, if you'd like to train with us, we are coming out to 12 different cities and states this offseason for 2-day-long QB and wide receiver camps. So check out that very first link in the description below if you're interested. We'd love to have you out there, fellas. I'll see you guys next time.